Hello and happy the days to you folks. Hope you guys are having an absolutely amazingly awesome day today. That today's one of the best days in your life. For you folks, and so for today, this is my next Let's Play. I think it's the ninth one here. For you folks here in Planet Coaster 2, they recently released a couple of weeks ago something called the Sorcery Pack DLC, which has a lot of fantasy themed stuff in it too, as well as things like urban fantasy for things like Harry Potter, 5 Rides, that sort of thing too. So I thought it would be fun for me to knock out some of these things for you folks. So I call this Fantasyland. This is a larger sandbox mode and that sort of thing too for you folks. It's going to be larger. It's going to have like 12 sandbox. Right, and we're starting off right here in the front with the section right here that you can see. And this is all of the things out there, like the typically things that would be more kiddie rides and that sort of thing too, here in the fairy tales story books, and more all ages stuff, right? And that sort of thing too. We had some issues with finances because I wanted to make this a little harder because with the finances are on and that sort of thing too. I don't know, like 10k and that sort of thing too. The first week I built the teacups in the merry-go-round, and that didn't really set up, and all the infrastructure, the shops, that sort of thing too. After I got that running, the next week I used loans to get the this junior coaster here, and then also the chair planes, not chair planes. I had a chair swing that I renamed. Then after that, I didn't get that much money in there. Next week was loans for the big wheel, and then the week after that was loans for the fairy theater to get those things knocked out for you folks again. And the fairy theater is here. Well, it's called a flying coaster, if I remember correctly. It's here, and the big wheels obviously there. And then I started again. And then I built Splintery, which is this wooden coaster here. But then the last couple of weeks, I started to get money in a little bit here and there. Days actually. Or since not weeks, but yeah. Here, I built this star wheel a couple of days ago with 4 just the cash. I had no spent. Yesterday, I did the Sunflare here, which everybody says is the best. Nice ride for getting money, as well as these bumper cars out here. I definitely sort of like they're bringing kind of thing. So one of the things that we were talking about building here was another roller coaster into this section of the park, right? So that was something that would kind of bring in money, bring in the people, right, and all of that stuff too, and sort of justify that. So we had talked about that too. So let's take a look at that too. So we had a couple of coasters that we unlocked, if you'll recall. Here, I'll show you. So we have a couple of things out there that are more. So I built that wooden is in Malaysia. Obviously, renamed it. It was started off being called Split, but I renamed it Lion's Splinter after the lion's paw, Aesop baby. But you can see lots of all ages here, right? This one here is the Crazy Mouse. That would be at 5700. Right, I'll unlock that one. And then I've also unlocked things like this coaster for your folks. Zephyr coaster. It's pretty pricey though. Junior coaster would be fun. We've got this regular wooden thing here too. A mouse here too. Mouse coaster too would also be good here too. The Wild Mouse. I think we've got some other junior coasters or ones that we recently unlocked too. That would be good for all ages too. So we could find some of these. Right, and and that we actually started with that one, the bike and sidecar. But that's probably going to be more of an urban fantasy. But I'm one of them. So yeah, we got a lot of those good things out there for you folks. I think this one actually is an all ages one too. Not that one here. It is. Yeah, the Automax Multiverse coaster. There's a couple of families there too, if I remember correctly. One's called Family. That we know a lot of classic about this thing. I'll check it real quick. That's here. that I just unlocked tomorrow. I shouldn't say last week. Sorry. Is here. Launch coaster. It's all H's. Alright, but one of the things I wanted to do today is see what we can unlock, because there were a couple of rides I could spin. Coasters who are spinning while mouse, right? And that sort of thing. So I thought I'd find first unlock today. Now we're at 13,000. That might be time for me to do that. Right, built transport right here in the front too that I was reserving for that. So let's take a look at the coaster first. Over here, this section. For the unlocking. Alright, so that is called the Splash Coaster. I unlocked everything but that, if you'll recall, last time. So I've got more than enough for it. So this is going to give me the one there on the left, and then the two. So let's get that. Until those are very, very strong family themes and such, right? Or I can just do regular ones if this was just do a price. That those are unlocked. Let me take a look at some other stuff. We do have a couple of other coasters here. I can do two. I can do chain of coasters or three. Or suspended coasters or two. Let's see what goes. Chain lift. Just the normal ones. Suspended are good too. Yeah, they're probably going to be not here for the open air. I probably wanted to do the chain. What about some flat rods? Anything over there first? I want to grab two for the unlocking. Also, track rides would be bad to get deal parts. All those are probably more of the urban bandits and stuff. For the hunter. Remember, water rides or water coasters will be bandits. That's a subsection of this. They won't be out here. Water. I could do a well or power and get the solar panel, which are pretty pricey. Or transport. Stupid. Really, I'm probably gonna get flat rides. And the last time I got the tower flat rides, built like that. No, those are pretty pricey. Sorry about that. 1,200 for right now. Hopefully, we're getting some good stuff there. We'll take a quick look. For folks, so seems like one of those is 12, or those. Hopefully, we're getting a few of those. Spinning flat rides and swinging flat rides. Well, is that the Enterprise? Everybody loves the Enterprise. That is the Boards. I love it lots. Yeah, we got to get those. The middle one there is the Boards fly. It's very popular, right? Let's grab it. I don't know if that's going to be bringing in lots of people too. I think it's an all ages ride too, if I remember correctly. Anything else I can build over here? Or other places to grab and build? Sorry. Nope. That next one's 7,200. Not bad. I need another 300 for you, folks. So let's go ahead and knock out the track rides, maybe. Instead, I could get those above track rides for 4,000 right now. Let's do it. I've got 21. That'd be enough for an 1,800. That was the last two transport rides. 1,800. Let's see if we can get one of those. Nope, 3,100. Usually the cable car and the bus. Anything else I can get right now, or do I just need to wait? Water. 21? This one. I could. No, that's 20. Sorry. Alright, so we'll just hold off on that. And now let's take a look at the coasters I can build. For folks. Now, just as a reminder, I'm not a good coaster builder. Just as a heads up. And so what I typically like to do here for folks is to build those sorts of things. Now, one of the things I did do here while I was waiting, and that sort of thing too, and had a couple $100 left. So one of the things I wanted to do was to make my shops themed in the parade thing here in the front section. But the problem is is that none of the shop halls that are here are at that price. So I just went ahead and did this sorcery DLC. This is the sorcery from the DLC for my info center, so you can see it here. Right? So I did build that, so that is new. I talked last time about the fact that some people were saying they wanted to play more places to eat and drink. So I did add these unthemed thing here. And this is a sushi place. I call it Very Approved Sushi. And then over here, I've got a drink place. I think if I recall quickly, that's a coffee place. Yeah, I called it Very Good. So you can check out all those things too. So there we are for your folks. Alright. So let's, just as a heads up. Also, I built this one over here too, so I made this a little more decorative, added those suns, because it's a sun flare rod. It's actually themed fairy flare. And then I added some decoration over here too. And then over here, by the boats, not that much. I'm sorry, by the boats, by the bumper cars. The cars, they still bump because there are bumper boats too. But you get the idea. That says good to be for your folks. Alrighty. So now let's take a look at my coasters. Now, if you recall, starting in the first chapter here, I wanted first week. I was reserving this place here for transit rides, right, and that sort of thing too, like a sheriff lift or a bus, something that would work there to move them in deeper into the park. Right, so this might not be a bad place over here to put a coaster. It's right by Splintering. People are coming down there to get to the sun flare, right, and that sort of thing too. So let's take a look and see what I got first with the coaster section. But those coasters. And at 13,000, I might, if I had to get an expensive coaster, I could totally, spend a few thousand to get another. Just as a heads up. But let's get started. Take a look at these coasters for you folks. So let's exit that. I just want to see what the spinning ones that we just unlocked are. So I think that's the crazy ones. That's fine. We can definitely build one of those. It's all ages. The sit down one. That's not bad. But I'm looking at two spin ones. Fast here, so I think is that one of them right here? Here in the middle. No, that's a child coaster. That's not bad. That's the Vector one I already built for you folks. That's not bad. It was pretty cheap too. It's like $35. Oh, here's one. The spinning wild mouse here. Yeah. See what it's like? It's actually $7,600, so it wouldn't be the most expensive one. The basic, it's all ages as you can see there. And that's not bad for you folks. So I'm gonna take a look and see what else we got down there too. All the good stuff. Spinning coasters. I'm just gonna look up the words, see what I can come up with there. We've got a couple of them. That and a couple more. This one actually, it might be Spider. Here is the spinning coaster Rome. It's a more pricey one. That's for preliminary breakdown. If I got a good coaster that comes with blueprint. And then that middle one is actually the Ultra Spin coaster that we started with. It's only $4 and teens in front of me. And so basically, let's take a look at the blueprints and see what I've got from those two, or the famous two. These are the ones that either came with the game or that I downloaded previously. Or some of them I made too, sometimes here and there, just as a heads up too. I'm blue blueprints for you folks. That's the one we just put stats in. That's the spin. Ooh, that's not bad. I was looking at the columns first, but that's actually not that exciting either. It's just, 2.0. or feet. Screw grab, I think I built recently for you folks. I think it was one of the ones I just grabbed from you a couple of weeks ago. And that's too. If you remember if it's got a check mark, I have built it, or I saved it in the career mode. Or and if it's got those. Yeah, that's how I built. Sorry, Gray Mouser. Right, and that's actually in 19,000 for a 4.2 volt. That's not bad. I'm gonna be a couple, and I only bought 6,000 for what I got right now. Roll. That's the one that comes with the game for the Crazy Mouse. Yeah, it's cheaper. It's 17,000, but only 3.42. So let me start off with the mouses compared to. So the game mouse is 17.2 for 3.42. 17.2, 3.42. There's the spinster. I'll probably skip past what with that low excitement. I mean, that's even worse than that is, right? The 3.42. 3.42. 4.21, but that one was one I think from career mode, right? But that was one for the that I built for 3.42. A wild mouse there. That's one that I get from some other folks from online. That's not. And I'll look it up and see whose that is if I built that one. It's not the bad price. It's got tons of books. That's good. Over here. That's a Riley mouse. It's also pretty pricey too. Not the worst one over there too. All right, let's try the spinning mouse. See what the spinning coaster looks like. Or other step bets. It hasn't spin in its name, I guess too. That's the spinster. Oh, it actually had it in its name too. It's also got spinning jet maniac mouse too. I was looking for more for it a spinning coaster, but over here. Over here, folks. That's side spin. Ooh, 35. 9. That's a big hit. So that's basically 36. I'd have to add like 23,000. And the excitement there isn't that great, right? At 4.5. That's probably right there. It's not the worst thing in the world to do with my money, but you get the idea. So I could do just like I mentioned before, a regular coaster of the. That's just for kids. I like the mouse and that sort of a thing too. Or other junior stuff too, right? And I do like mouses because I think you could easily theme it to a fairy tale story about places through Brian mouses, right? I mean, you do that pretty easily. But you just, I wish you could sort here by, instead of price by low, by excitement, or because that's how people check it. That's how good it is for bringing in the people for your coasters, right? That Minder's not for it. It's a force. It makes a lot of money. Right? It's cheap. But yeah. What about the others? Just anything over here that jumps out to me as in all ages. That. Yeah, that Green Mouser was built in career mode, if I recall correctly. That was all about sort of having a coaster that was underground. One of those last ones, you didn't have much of a I think it was set in Egypt. So, building the one that is 17,000 would only be about another $4,000 loan. Not the worst thing in the world to do, and that sort of thing too. Because I took lots of loans already, so that wouldn't be bad for this area. But with 3.42 for one another, bring in the money, right? It's cheap. Mouse. Just found all the mouse coasters are just super fast. In order, this one again is the one that I just unlocked. It's cheap. I'm sorry, compared to other stuff, but you know it's just not bringing in a lot of people. This wins through. So cheaper than that one though. That one, I built the Green Mouser. About another 2,000 more, but a better excitement at 4.21. Wild Mouse. That comes from somebody else. But the 6.0104 is pretty good. So if I did that one before I do that one at that price, I'd want to let you guys know who did that one too. It might have been one we just downloaded a couple of weeks ago. I was looking for online with you folks to look that stuff up. So I might have already done that. Oops, sorry. And this is just a regular mouse. What a mess. Not sure. Yeah. It's a 3.37. But if I was going to spend that kind of cash, I feel like the best cash to results is probably this one, and that sort of thing too. And again, since somebody else did it for another 10,000, for me to do the loans for that one too. 9,000, well, 10, probably a couple hundred more. So maybe 9,3 somewhere here. Do I'll show you my finances real fast for you folks. Because we took out lots of loans. Here. So we had my initial loan amount there at 31.8, but I've been paying it off. But because that was a few days ago. Right, and I haven't been taking any major loans out since the roller coaster split. Right, so let me show you who did. Yeah, I feel like another 9,000 for that feels good, right? For a sixes coaster feels like a good place to go. All right, so before I built that, I just want to show you who did it. I think that might have been one I grabbed in one of the 4 or 5 ones that I grabbed online with you folks. I think it's called Wild Mouse. Here, I just want to make sure I got that person for all approved. I don't want to give somebody's work credit, right, without giving them to stuff. Alright, so let's check in over here into the browse section of my workshop. I think it was called Crazy Mouse Jeep, right? That's Dragon's Fall. Here it is. Pull or double check. I think it's by Nico Nee. That Nico Nee person. So let's just double check to make sure. It says it's in stone. But yep. Alright, so we're installing Nico Nee's. Good job. Alright, so let's see how big it is first. It's here. Before I get that money, you don't want to take out loans until you're sure. That's not actually. That's very small. That's good. I can totally do that. Alrighty, not bad. Alright, so let's go ahead and take out the money, the loans. But before I do that, I'm going to save. I know it's boring for you folks, but if I take out that money, and then right when there's an issue, right with the ride and that sort of thing, I don't want to have that happen. Or be thinking about that too, right? So we're just going to save it right here. And now, just go ahead and build it here. After grabbing, how much was it again? I think 9,000, right? 9,000 and a couple hundred. Yep. 9,000 and looks like. Is that 400? 300? I'm not sure. It's definitely 9,000. We're at 022. I'd have to spend another 5. It's going to be 9,094. 94. Let's just try it real quick. For you folks. $94. Alright, yep, let's do. Build this. Nos vamos. Right here and there. I'm trying to find a place that's going to be close enough for. I'll show you. Yeah, that's close enough for those. That cute. That's what I'm trying to do. I also want to have it near the power because I don't have the money to get a power station. If you recall, I also did that for one of my previous rides too. Splinter. But it's going to be in the power station area. Right? That's not bad. Let's start right there. We'll test it here in a second. We're going to change it from the base Crazy Mouth to 3-bound mice because it doesn't have any themes, so it should be easy to do. No, thank you. Then after that, we'll connect them just to make sure. Okay, we got that. So this is going to be the queue first over here. I'm going to change that queue into the queue here for this area. Or is it the rust? The queue. I think it's the one here. It is. Right here. Real fast for you folks. No, is that in the air? That might be. Just trying to bring it down to our. Let's just see if that's possible. It is a little near. No, not that much. Alright. So what I'm thinking of doing here is just to get you straight a little bit, just a couple of queue lines, because this is a coaster. But again, we don't want to have too many people again in queues. We want them to buy things, right? In order to get the money. So let's go ahead and just. Maybe here, maybe here, and then maybe one more. That's good. Now it's connected. Now the other thing we're obviously going to want to do while I'm here is to do the queue. I got that wrong other shot too. It's weird. And this would be the rustic path over here. No, it's a Jasmine. Yeah. Here. Perfect. Good stuff. That's good. Now after that, toss down, because that is a coaster. And then toss down some stuff like here on the senior side of things, some benches and that sort of thing too. Then some path exits here, benches, and bins will be here. They're also cheaper too, like by the piece. Now benches, which are about 10 piece. So now we're just not got enough benches to get all that money used. Fairy themed hearts. Everybody loves fairies. Is that not going there? Oh, because it's up. Yeah, because it's on a. It's on an 8th floor, you can't put stairs. It's on an 8th. That was the building instead of. Sorry with that. could change that, make it more just straight at the top, and then stairway. But we'll just be walking. Here and here. Probably a good one too. On the first side here. Also, while I got the money, I'm thinking about let's toss out a couple of other lamps too. They're supposed to be lamps, but that's not sure. How about instead? It's here. Lights. We are doing these fun little bit here, not the firefly. Sure. Kilo. That's good. Alright, now that's done. Over here to test the ride. And then do a time check too. We go about 25 minutes. We're going to that's good. For you folks, alright, so the next thing I want to do here, but you get the idea. Testing here, and then see how that works. Alright, so let's test it. Hit the pause button there. Just for .04, not bad. Although 6.0, it's a higher nausea than I was hoping. I might have known that. I didn't even check before I put that down. That's fine. I'm sure. Let's see what that looks like. You know, people. You know. We'll see. It's 5. Yeah, it might appeal to some people, right? But we'll see how it goes. Well, that's all open. I'm ready to get to those folks. Alright. Let's just check in on the other stuff. See how things are going. That's happening with the other rides, and we're going to make sure that all of my other rides are getting, you know, that sort of an extra care that can be given by a custodian, a mechanic rather. My teammates are going well. 39. Good there too. 30 minutes. It's a little lower because we have about half an hour, about an hour each. We're fine. Each flower. Got 16 minutes on the lanes. Splinter needs to get fixed too. Pretty is yeah. I don't know. Let's check the other flight routes first. That probably do it otherwise. It's not that long ago. 45 minutes longer. Yeah, that's what we checked. That little Cardinals one is huge. A huge one. Right by all of that decor. 47 minutes there after that. Here. 27 minutes. So while that's happening, right, I do want to show you some stuff that happened in my park staff. And that sort of the thing. Do just as a heads up. Right. So I opened up the park I came in this morning to start playing, and that sort of a thing too. And I did notice that we started rushing with that. That's here, right? Yep. So you can see that I actually I hired another junior. I tried to fix one of my toilets, my only toilet, stopped working because it hadn't been upkeep, so I had to hire, and I tried to just get my regular person to do it. So I actually hired another junior, just as a heads up. And then also in addition to that, also I've also had to hire a couple more ride attendants here and there too, just to make sure stuff got done. I'll go ahead. I don't know if I want to keep them at low pay. Maybe fair pay would be fine. Although that is $42, which is some rides on it aren't going to make me that much money, and I'll put some on. Here at the vendors, you can see the people I just hired too. But here's what I want to show you: the security guard. So I noticed I got a notice that says that somebody was reporting that they got pickpocketed here on Baypont early on, and then a few others said that too. So I had to hire a security guard to get him taken care of, just as a heads up. Just checking. See, I forgot how that was after I started talking. 34 minutes. Okay. 37 minutes. Also, you definitely need to be very, very proactive. The theater going over there too. That's the flying theater. It actually came with a steel suit. I'll go ahead and do that. Just crumple around. Not doing anything major for you folks, right? Good stuff taken care of. Everybody said, all the other one said that this sunflower here is great yellow. In the early game, well, it's not the early game, but the time you unlock it. Because it takes like but you for an all ages ride. That's okay too. You can see here how much the testing here does, right? It's 3.52 on that rod, right? It seems good. Now it does have a higher nausea for you, and that sort of thing too. All the other stuff too here. And there. So, not there. I already did. I'm just not. Yeah, alright. So, I was hoping to build a spinning coaster, which was a little on the price here. So, hopefully, that coaster will still be fun. And that's sort of thing to bring in the books. Here at the unicorn right here, what, 45 minutes? We're fine. 48 minutes. Alrighty. Is there any decor I want to do or anything like that too I can talk about with you folks? Just in here, right? But remember, you have to be very, very proactive with that stuff. And if you're not, you will have the power drop, right? And then the ability. Oh yeah, definitely the generation. Let's end 17 minutes. Next. You gotta be very, very proactive with it because you can't be front but around because my power drops wrong. Right? See what you're at the 72%. And now let's drop this down to 21, right? And it will never get back up. I have to refurbish it. So you definitely only want to be very proactive with that too. And probably the janitors with that bathroom too. Right. Also grab this one class 4 for you folks while I'm doing the other two too. Looks not bad. Alright. Anything I can do that doesn't cost me any cash or waiting for money. What I hate I could build some roads. Those don't cost any money. None of that stuff too. It does too. Alright. But I just don't see anything of any major value to do right now for you folks. Alright. So we'll go ahead, it's probably time to, since I don't have anything major to do with that last 15 minutes on my timer that I have here, 30 minutes over. Thing two, let's go ahead and call it for you folks. Alrighty. So, I wanna, what you think about this, and that sort of thing too. This is now, right, we might be getting to a place now where we can start talking about the expansions, or I can do fairy slide. Not fairy slide, but there's a kid's slide in the flat rides. Section 2, it's over here. There. That doesn't bring in a lot of money. It's also pretty cheap too, like $7.20. For you folks, it's you. I think Helter Skelter's alright. Yeah. I could build that here soon, like on the next time. That would be fine if I wanted to do that too. Or I could go ahead and knock out add this tiny eye too, which probably wouldn't be bringing that much money either to spending or either. That I knocked out the big swing. It's very expensive, if not much exciting. And this is actually very cheap. For a little more exciting. It's like $700. There's something. Also, you can see. Or, got lots of things out there for you folks, and so you can check that out too. Get them taken care of for you folks. Now that, money is starting to come in, but with that $90,000 loan, it might be a little hit and miss. So we'll see where we wind up next. but it's possible that I might want to do the next sections of the park. Now, this section of the park over here is going to be the Gothic horror section with things like mummies, vampires, witches, spiders, that sort of thing too. And then over here on this section of the park is going to be the more classic heroic fantasy, like Lord of the Rings and that sort of thing too. And then after that's over with, then the one right here is going to be Atlantis, with things like coasters, water coasters, log slides, flumes, and pools, and that sort of thing too, right? And so any of those would be a good place to expand into. And then beyond that, I would have Egypt, ancient Egypt. I've got myth. I've got Vikings. I've got pirates. I've got the Weird West. I've got a science fantasy like Star Wars and that sort of thing too, as well as urban fantasy, right? And so lots of that area. So you can check out lots of fun things that are coming down the back for you folks. I think you might want to. The one that really sold me on unlocking those flat rides right now is the board slide. Let me show you what it looks like. I think you'll like it lots. On those flat rides this time. Over here. Right, yeah, the board slide, right? Glide along the rails. It's very, very cheap, but it's very, very high side. Very, very high. It's also very themed. If I remember correctly, there are tons of those in the theme section. Right. The mythology, which I could build easily enough in the myth section, as well as the resort section too. And you'll just see it bring in money, right? With all those things. I remember it's pretty popular. So that's the reason why I did the board slide. There we go for you folks. So let me. But that's kind of what's happening coming in the future for you folks. Just a heads up. All up and down. But let me know. I hope you enjoyed that lot. Let me know what your thoughts are with the fantasy Sorcery Pack DLC that I have done in the past, with like things going all the way back to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. After I did all the things that sort of into, because it was my passion back then too. But just thought it'd be fun for me to do it with you folks too. And then hopefully you'll sort of like this sort of thing, and you might check out whatever else. No pressure. I'm just happy you spent time with it. But I got some reviews. One or two of video games I just did. Planet Coasters. Planet Zoo. This past Wednesday, the previous Wednesday, Planet Coasters. Planet Coaster 2's DLC, Sorcery Pack. Then coming up next week will be the Jurassic Park Evolution 2, also by Frontier too, and some other things speaking up. So you can check that stuff out too. And then I want to thank you, so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing, right? And even watching my video. Because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So if you spent this time with me, and that's very, very humbling. And I appreciate that so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.